Hi everyone and welcome to this tutorial on creating and editing quizzes. Now, you're in your default template here and you can see that there's 10 modules, and inside the modules we'll place our content like our assignments, our forums, and our quizzes. So we wanted to make sure that you're able to set up the quizzes because right now they're just set with some default content provided by us. Which you might want to change. You'll definitely want to change to meet your department's requirements and your course's requirements. So to do that, we're going to go up to Turn Editing On, and we're going to scroll down and go to the quiz which we want to change, and then click on the Edit and Edit Setting icon. Now, setting up the quiz is a two-part process. First, you have to set up the requirements for the quiz and its behavior, and then you have to actually input the questions in another window. So, some things are required, like the quiz name, which we've named as default Module 1 quiz, and then there is the description, which the students will see, and probably should house this area. Probably should be the house for your brief description about what the quiz contains, what it covers, and the objectives of the quiz. And you can even put a little time limit just to notify the students how much time they have, and maybe any other requirements of the quiz that you have for the quiz. So once you do that, then you're going to go down to affect some of these abilities or some of these behaviors of the quiz. For example, when the quiz is open, the time limit for the quiz, and what happens when the quiz expires. So you're going to set the open the quiz date by pressing the enable button, and then choosing the date for which it opens. For example, this is April 2nd, and maybe we'll start the quiz at 12:36. Let's just put it at like 3:36. And then maybe we'll want to close the quiz. For example, we only want to give the quiz for 20 minutes in our description. So we'll close the quiz 20 minutes after the start of the quiz. So for example, 3:56, 20 minutes later. So now that we can see the quiz closes at 15:36 and starts at 15:36. And we can set a time limit, 20 minutes. You can change that to 5 minutes, and then you would change the open and close timings and what you tell the students in the description. You can also affect what happens when the time expires. For example, you can give a grace period to the students. That way they have some time to press the submit button. Or you can just say open attempts are submitted automatically, which is the default and most likely the only thing you'll be using. So then we can scroll down and we can affect what happens with this kind of quiz as far as the grades are concerned. We can choose the category, which most likely will be the quiz category in the grade book. And you can affect how many attempts the students are allowed to take the quiz. Most likely you'll be sending it to 1. But if you did want to send it to, like, say, 2 attempts, then you can allow the student to receive the highest grade out of the 2, or an average between both attempts, or maybe the first or last attempt. Depending on what you would like, but most likely you'll just be sending 1 attempt for each student. And then you can choose the layout, which is important. You want to make sure that the question orders are shuffled randomly. That way, if 2 students are sitting next to each other at computers, they won't have the same questions on at the screen at the same time. And you want to make sure that there's a new page for every question. Again, so the questions don't appear on the same screen at the same time for different students. Question behavior, you want to make sure to tick the yes, shuffle answers within the questions. If you have a multiple choice question, you can choose to shuffle the answers within the question. Again, that way multiple students don't have the same view of the quiz at any given time. And then how questions behave, you want to select deferred feedback. That way the students don't receive the feedback for their answers until the quiz is finished. You go down to the review options, and you're going to uncheck everything except for after the quiz is closed. This way, the students won't have access to the answers or their marks or any specific feedback until the entire quiz is closed for all the students. This prevents one student from finishing the quiz quickly and then passing on the answers to other students. So if he has to wait until the quiz is closed for everyone, nobody will receive the answers until that point. The other options are not really important, except for maybe overall feedback. If you want to give them some feedback for a specific grade, like if they receive 100, they can get something, some little feedback from the teacher. The common module settings, you would just want to make sure that it's shown and not hidden under the visibility. That way the students can see the actual quiz on their module. And then you can click Save and Display once you have everything set. Okay, now this will get you to a point where you can now edit this quiz. So you can go to the Administration tab and go Edit Quiz. And you can edit this quiz by adding the questions to it. So this is where you add the questions to your quiz. So the first part, you're just setting up the behavior of the quiz. Now you're going to add the meat and potatoes to the quiz, the questions. And I've already added like a little sample question here. I can just delete that and we'll add a new one. And I think by default, the maximum grade is set to 10. But you want to make sure, I think, to set that to 100. That way, all the questions you have will equal or total 100%. So let's go. We're starting from scratch. We've set it to 100, and now let's go and add a question. So what type of questions are we going to add? Well, that will be based on the type of course you're providing. Maybe multiple choice, maybe some matching, maybe some true or false. Let's just set a true or false question, and that'll make it easy for us. It'll open up a new window where you'll have to give the question name. And for that, you're just going to want to write in maybe true/false. If it's a multiple choice question, then just type in multiple choice. It just tells the student what type of question this is. The question text is what the actual question is. So we can just write, is the sky blue? And that's just a simple, silly question for this example. The default mark, let's say we only want 10 questions for this quiz, and it's going to be scored out of 100, so each question will be worth 10 points. But you can change this at a later date to make some questions worth more than others. Now, you can give general feedback overall, depending on no matter what answer they answer, or down here, you can give specific feedback depending on the type of answer they provide. And the last thing is you want to make sure to check the correct answer. For this one, we'll just put true. Depending on where you live, I guess the sky is not always blue, but I think for the most part, that's a true statement. And then we'll save the changes. And you'll see that the question is displayed here, and you can go and add another question. Or if you would like, and you have a question bank, you can go over here, it says question bank contents, and you can show the question bank. Meaning a question bank is where you have a whole lot of questions and you've imported them into Moodle, and then you'd be able to pick and choose from that bank of questions and just add questions to the quiz without having to write them in. So that's pretty much the general idea of how to create a quiz. To now view the quiz and maybe take it as a sample run before it goes live for the students, you can go back to your home page. You can go to the quiz 1, which is what we just edited, and you can go preview quiz now. And you can say start attempt, gives you a little warning. And then here pops up the question, just like the students would see. And you can see some things about this question. For example, this is question 1. You can see whether it's been answered or not. You can see the total mark. And if you would like, as a teacher, you can edit the question. So over here, you can see how much time is remaining. You can see that you have 19 minutes and 26, 25, 24 seconds left before the quiz is finished and before all your answers will be submitted. So I'll just select true and we can click next. And then again, it shows us that we have answered one question and one question has been saved. And we can return to our attempt if we'd like to. It tells us how much time is remaining. Or we could submit all the questions that we've answered and finish the quiz, which at that point we would have to wait for 20 minutes or 18 minutes to get our answers. So we'll just do that, and it'll give us a little confirmation note, and we'll just say submit all and finish. So that is how the student would take the quiz. That is how you set up the questions for the quiz and how you set up the behavior for the quiz. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you have any questions, please contact your e-learning coordinator or the e-learning department within ETC. Thank you very much.